Let's go get this son of a bitch.
It's hard not to talk about Avengers Endgame without talking about the passage of time. And it's not just because there have been 22 movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe already, but it's because these movies have resonated and registered with audiences all over the world, and they've affected many lives, and not just the lives of the stars and the lives of the directors and their creators behind all of these massive cinematic enterprises. All of these images swirl in your mind, and you're just wondering how it's all going to wrap up. And are my favorite heroes going to be honored? And I can tell you unequivocally, yes, everybody is honored.
Whatever it takes.
When you sit back and watch this movie, you're really just impressed with the intelligence of the screenwriters and the movie makers to kind of put this jigsaw puzzle together in a way that's going to satisfy all corners. And I'm sure there's people out there that are going to find the flaws and the problems and stuff, but I can tell you, without spoiling too much, a hug got a round of applause in this movie. You know, and I can't remember the last movie I saw where a hug got a round of applause. And the closure that we get on the threads that are left behind in Infinity War is also incredibly satisfying and so much fun and so clever. It's emotional, and you're going to see some incredible battles and some incredible effects work and beautiful performances. And it's a powerful, powerful finale to a saga that has been long in gestation. And I've been dancing around trying not to spoil any damn thing because I don't want you to see. Like I myself, even when we were talking about it on EP, I saw one trailer, I think, and then I just didn't want to even talk about it. I just wanted to see it. And every time I'd see a news blurb on my social media feed or whatever, I'd just sort of scroll by it or skip it. Anytime anybody tweeted about it, nope, don't want to read anything. So I've been doing my best to try to stay away from getting the spoilers on this film more than any of the other Marvel movies. I think this is such an important movie. It is not just the sequel to Infinity War. It is a love letter to the comic industry and also all of the work that has gone in from lots and lots of creative people in the entirety of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
You trust me? I do.
It's hard not to sit back and think about how these movies kind of mattered to you individually and personally over time. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies really did mean something to me personally because we've been right along there for the ride, covering all of these stories and all of these movies and all of these stars and, you know, the writers and the directors right from the very beginning. And I've been thinking about that a lot. We were there working with Sega on the making of Iron Man before the first Iron Man movie came out, and I interviewed Jon Favreau and Robert Downey Jr. and Kevin Feige and Stan Lee, and got a sense that, oh my God, they didn't know what they were venturing into, but hopefully audiences would like it, both the game and the movie. And we were actually in the editing suites of the first Iron Man film, watching them put some effect sequences together, and it was mind-blowing back then. But even before that, Tommy and I were on the set of Spider-Man interviewing Avi Arad about his first foray into making live-action Marvel movies a reality, and Sam Raimi did a great job with that. And it feels like the Marvel movies have been right alongside us as we have grown, and in fact, the launch of that Iron Man film in 2008 was a huge catalyst for Electric Playground becoming a daily show. I was using that in my conversations with Rogers back then, that Iron Man was coming, and there was going to be this whole suite of massive comic book films, and there needed to be television programming that really covered this stuff with some heart and some authenticity and some real curiosity about how all of these things have come together and how they honor the fans of these properties. And Rogers went along with that, as we all know, and so there we were making EP Daily as not only Iron Man comes out, but Captain America and Thor and eventually the Avengers, and we're on red carpets and we're at junkets and we're interviewing all these people. And I can remember at one of the Comic-Cons we had EP and Reviews on the Run mic flags as all of the stars of Age of Ultron came down, and they talked to both EP and Reviews people, which was enormous and amazing. And, you know, these comic book superheroes had become the biggest stars on Earth.
Everybody in this room is about that superhero life.
I've been following these Marvel movies for so long, and when I started, I had the frosted tips, and I looked like I was trying to be in a boy band, and now I've got frosted tips, but it's a lot more gray. And apologies if I'm just making you realize that now. But the other thing that has happened is, of course, I've had a kid along the way. You know, pre-Iron Man, no kid. since Iron Man Kid. And this was the first movie that I went to see in the theater with my kid. And she's seen a few of the other ones along the way, and we just finished wrapping up Infinity War. She enjoyed Infinity War more than Endgame because she hasn't seen every single one of the Marvel films. She's still figuring out who all the characters are. And Infinity War was just this visual spectacle and battles galore, and it's a party until it's not. And Endgame ties up a lot of threads, and you kind of have to know what those threads are. So if you are one of those Marvel curious out there who hasn't ventured into every one of the films, maybe this one won't register quite as much as it does for those of us who have been there for the entirety of the ride.
Who hasn't been to space? You better not throw up on my ship.
The one last thing that I'll say about Avengers Endgame is that I wish that Captain Marvel came out after it. That movie would have resonated much more for me personally. Even though it made $1 billion and lots of people love it, I wanted more out of the Captain Marvel movie, and I feel like if they had put Endgame before it, I might have enjoyed it a bit more. I don't know. I gotta go back and see Captain Marvel.
I like this one.
I think it's impossible not to have a good time with this. And it's a powerful, powerful finale to a saga that has been long in gestation. Avengers Endgame is a 10 out of 10.